Ladies and gentlemen across the beloved Copper Empire, welcome to Arnold Holonet News, the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. It's been a little snoozy in Galaxy News, but today, baby, we have the Galactic Legends Leia Organa kit reveal. And boy, oh boy, this thing is looking freaking nutty, but I got a problem. Well, I gotta say, this kind of caught me off guard a little bit because, well, we still got 3 characters that we can't even farm yet inside of Galaxy Heroes, so kind of a problem there. Drogon, Nisa, which I suspect will be farmable this week, as well as Scout Trooper have not been released farmable. Prepare yourselves, guys. This might be a Galactic Legends you aren't getting your hands on anytime soon until they finally make these free to play accessible. So putting it on your radar. We're gonna look at the kit here. We do not have any sort of details when Galactic Legends Leia Organa is gonna be released for Star Wars Galaxy. However, when we get a kit reveal, usually like 2 days later. I'll admit, I'm not even prepared. I had this whole banger I had in mind, didn't prepare anything else, so this could be coming out this week for all we know. I'm hoping we have more time to at least get Scout Trooper farmable, but just putting it out there, there might be a chance 3 or 2 of these characters might not be farmable. But with that news aside, check this out. All the way down here, I'm glad there's, I mean, did you see how much I'm scrolling? This may just be the longest kit we've had in Galaxy Heroes. Holy cow. I just want to say though, I am extremely happy that the ultimates are looking pretty good. Jabba really brought the A game. Leia's freaking bringing in her own batch of firepower. Jabba's got a ranker. We got this little walker right over here. So really cool to see we have Chewie inside the walker. They're really awesome to see. They're bringing the cinematic quality that we kind of would want to see out of a Galactic Legend. Kenobi, Lord Vader, and a bit more of the unimpressive side of things. Jabba, Leia, they're bringing the heat, y'all. So we're gonna get through all this. Long story short with Galactic Legends Leia, they're trying to keep the CLS team intact. Burning is going to be massive on this lineup. Galactic Legend offensive powers that should beat most Galactic Legends as they've coined it for us. And also things like Kanan, Old Ben look like they're going to have a pretty decent home on this team here. Galactic Legend Rebel tank, and there's no no Ewok tag. Send it back to the drawing board. I want to just start off here. We have a lot to go through, so hopefully you guys got yourself a nice drink because you're gonna need to sit back, relax. We're gonna need our swagology degrees for this. I want to start here with the leader ability, the thing that really brings the team to life. The leader ability is gonna be called, I know. All rebel allies have plus 40 speed. That's a big boost right there. Normally you kind of get 30, 40 is definitely on the higher end of things. Non-scoundrel rebel attackers. So unfortunately, they really are creating all these weird conditions to make sure we're not dipping into the CLS crew. So the non-scoundrel rebel attackers, that's calling out Han Solo not being on this team. Non-scoundrel rebel attackers gain 25% mastery, 50% max health and protection. Wowza, that is a lot. We're going to see health is going to play an important role, protection, and we kind of theory craft about R2. R2's having an important role. A lot of callouts for R2 throughout the entire kit. The durability of this team should be insane, and they even have things like damage immunities, as we're going to see. Jedi Rebel tank. So the developer said maybe Old Ben, Kanan. I'm kind of curious, maybe Stormtrooper Han might work in here. Jedi Rebel tanks gain 100% defense for 2 turns at the start of the encounter, and then they get 50% max protection for 1 turn. Whatever they taunt, remember, max protection is based off max health. So the more max health you have, the more protection up you're going to end up getting in the end. And they deal bonus damage, bonus true damage equal to 20% of their max health whenever they are using a base ability against an enemy protection up. We're going to see a lot of anti-Master Kenobi callouts. This is one of them. Master Kenobi has a ton of protection. We got to get through it really quickly. This is going to be one of many things we're going to see Leia have in her arsenal to make sure Master Kenobi gets down. If the text is telling me anything, Master Kenobi should be easy money. He doesn't have a lot of hard counters. This looks like it's going to be a very hard counter to Kenobi. Rebel allies take 25% reduced damage from out of turn attacks. So General Kenobi mass swarms, you know the drill, and are immune to max health reduction And an interesting call up the plague. I guess they're trying to maybe look ahead and make sure Night Sisters can't cheese their way through this one. We still haven't heard any update if they're going to work on Night Sisters versus Jabba. Whenever enemies attack on a turn, non-Scoundrel Rebel allies, again, really kind of conditioning it to very certain things. So no Chewies, no Han Solos. They'll get 1% mastery stacking. So remember, anytime enemies are attacking on a turn, their mastery on the Rebel team is going to be increasing over and over and over again. At the start of each Rebel ally's turn, dispel foresight and stealth from all enemies. So we kind of like a Mace Windu, Darth Revan lead type of thing going under. So you can't cheese your way. They're going to work their way through the battle here. Whenever enemies are less than 100% Terminator, gain bonus Terminator. Whew, Rebel allies gain 100% critical avoidance, and Empire enemies can't gain bonus Terminator for one turn. Sorry, Imperial troopers. Sorry, Emperor Palpatine. Big call outs to that because, again, Empire has huge anti-rebel thing. Well, these guys have huge anti-Empire to their anti-rebel things that's going on there. So that's a lot of stuff cooking against the Empire's here right there, which kind of makes sense, right? I mean, this is kind of what the whole point of Voyager was. I'm not here to kind of give you the whole Return of the Jedi spiel here. Whenever a rebel ally has their turn meter reduced, done. Cut them off. They can't have their turn meter reduced again for one turn. So you can reduce a limited turn meter, but even if it's just like a 0.001%, no more turn meter reduction right there. They're trying to really get a turn meter control is kind of important for Galactic Legends. Jabba has a way to keep up. Lord Vader has somewhat of a way to control it. General Master Kirby has a way to completely stop it. And Leia's got a way to make sure she's not getting turn meter cheese by reducing her turn meter constantly. Whenever an enemy is revived, all rebel allies gain 10% turn meter. I'm guessing maybe this is again maybe kind of a call out to Night Sisters potential. We don't have a lot of revive based things, but there's a couple interesting, Cara Dune revives and stuff like that. Enemies, here we go. This is just one of many ways R2D2 is going to play a fundamental role in the team. And this is probably why we saw the Saw Gerrera investigation. There's a lot of interesting burning synergy going on here. Enemies inflicted with burning from a rebel ally, so pretty much R2, Drogon, can't recover health. And if burning is dispelled on an enemy, they take 20% of their max health as damage. That's a big chunk. Whenever a rebel ally inflicts an enemy with burning, they gain damage immunity. So R2, Drogon, the first time a non-Scoundrel rebel ally loses all of their protection, they gain second wind for 3 turns, which can't be copied. All allies and enemies are immune to cooldown manipulation. So both sides. Do you want me to list what that means? Master Kilby cannot reduce Commander Tano's insta-kill. And you know how long it takes to get an insta-kill? With Commander Tano, quite a lot. So it seems like if Commander Tano gets the insta-kill on you, you took way too long in the battle. So that's the big thing I'm calling out. Fear should not be any issue whatsoever. Darth Nihilus can't reduce his cooldowns. Trey's Omicron shouldn't work as well because it reduces cooldowns. That's the cool thing about Nihilus. He gets that fast insta-kill. Not going to work here. What does second wind do? The first time this character be reduced to 1% health, dispel this buff, and recover 50% health and protection instead. So we were talking a lot about Malicos the other day. It's kind of like a mini-ish savior, maybe not full-blown like what Malicos could do, Jedi Knight Revan, but kind of to an extent. Helps them, saves them, keeps them around for a little bit longer throughout the battle. So hopefully it makes sense why we started, just the overall concept that the Rebels are going to be rocking on the battlefield. And this right here is a word vomit paragraph. That is a lot going on that we have here. And the burning makes a lot of sense. And we have also very specific R2D2 call outs. Let's now start our way from the top to the bottom here. Now we kind of got the leader ability out of the way. Righteous Retribution. Now we got a little teaser of this a while ago with the base ability providing Retribution for 2 turns on all rebel allies. Leia's basic gives Retribution to the whole team. Yeah. That's kind of wild right there. On her turn, deal bonus true damage to target enemy equal to 10% of the damage other rebels received since her last turn, and deal additional effects based on the target enemy's roll. So we're going to see a lot of stuff throughout her kit that she's going to apply additional effects depending on the enemy's roll. It's not a very common thing. Krennic kind of has an ability like that, but most of the time when we see this, it's more like allies. If you're a tank attacker, yada yada yada, you get this. They're kind of bringing that Krennic concept, but really expanding it to a whole other level. But overall, this kind of gives me that steadfast Retribution vibe in Conquest, where when you're fighting up against the notorious Padme, she reflects all the damage. It's kind of like that to a degree. So If the target enemy, and remember, it's only on her turn, so you can't call her to assist with like bigs, let's just say, and this will happen. It has to be on her turn. If the target enemy was an attacker, dispel all buffs on the target enemy, reduce their speed by 5, maximum to a cap of 200 speed reduction per buff dispel until the end of the encounter. So I know we're kind of reading between the lines here. I'm looking at Master Kenobi. I would really like to see a way to kind of hard counter the guy. I know people don't like to hear that, but he's kind of an annoyance to deal with, even with the Galactic Legend realm of things. Master Kenobi's an attacker. This does not exclude Galactic Legend. So you should be able to ramp down Kenobi's speed quite a lot, and the variety of other attackers that exist on the team. And this is going to be really important too, because she really ramps into some mechanics that slow down the enemy. This is really just going to be a kind of a cherry on top type of situation. If the target enemy was a healer or a support, dispel all debuffs on robot allies, a cleanse on a basic, y'all, equalize Leia's health, holy cow, and protection with the weakest other rebel ally. And we know Galactic Legend, they already have a massive health and protection pool. Having her kind of constantly equalize, big deal. And then recover 20% health and protection. I have something I want to say, but let me get through this tank thing real quick. If the target enemy was a tank, Mass Swarm, call other rebel allies to assist, limited once per turn, reduce the target enemy's max health by 5% per rebel ally until the end of the encounter. What happens in a Jedi Master Kenobi battle? You're stuck behind General Kenobi pretty much for the whole thing. That's kind of the first barrier of entry for beating a Kenobi. You got to get through General Kenobi. This and some other stuff we're going to talk about, you should be able to get through General Kenobi fairly quickly by being able to reduce the target enemy's max health. Remember, protection up is based off max health. That really is going to harm Master Kenobi quite a lot. The one thing I'm noticing, developers have kind of said this should be an offensive powerhouse Galactic Legend. I'm sure it's going to have some degree of the defensive viability. Being able to know when to attack an attacker of Leia's basic or healer support tank, it's something I can't imagine the defense is really going to know to do. Maybe they've card-coded a few things, but I could definitely see why this might be more of an offensive tool, because you are going to want to know, all right, I think I needed to attack an attacker with Leia's basic or a tank. I don't know if that's going to kind of work. It's kind of like Jedi Cal Kestis. He has so many advanced abilities. It's kind of dumb though on defense. He doesn't know how to use them right. But nonetheless, we still love Cal. Let's get to our first special ability. Rebel Ambush. Cooldown of Cuatro, my senores. Deal physical damage plus bonus true. I love that she just a Galactic Legend. She just busts out a stick. You know, I mean, what more do you expect out of Leia right there? That's what I would expect out of a general fighting on the front line with the stick. What more could you want? Deal physical damage plus bonus true damage equal to 10% of Leia's max health. And we already showcased a lot of max health gains. We talked indirectly about R2D2 supercharging the stats, and we have more R2D2 stuff we got to break down. This sounds like it should hit hard. We don't have the stats, but it's going to really depend on how much max health she has, but it sounds like it could be a lot. Remove 20% turn meter, and here comes a new mechanic, ambush. It's going to be a little weird. There's ambush and ambushed, past tense with an ED at the end, which it's an important distinction we're going to show. So you're going to inflict ambush until the end of their next turn if they don't already have ambushed. So we'll talk about how you get ambushed versus ambush. This can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. I am not noticing though, unless I missed it. This seems like this could possibly be resisted. If I'm not missing anything, and copy, dispel, prevented, this could be resisted, it seems like. Oh, here we go. I glanced over. The tactical scanners weren't dialed in. This ability can't be beat or resisted. Well, there you go. Problem solved right there. Rebel allies gain 10% mastery and 25% potency until the ending encounter. And it's going to be very important to make sure the burning gets locked in. It's going to play a really big role. Having a 25% potency is great. And more ways to keep the mastery ramping up. Kind of a big deal. So, kind of again, like we talked about, it's kind of a core concept of this kit. Depending on the enemy, the debuff is going to do a little bit different. You inflict debuffs on all enemies based on their role, which can't be spelled. So if you're an attacker, boom, you get dazed right away. And that's going to be a problem for like the Ahsokas. They need to be assisting a lot on Master Kenobi's team. It's going to be an issue. Depending on how fast, I don't know how this battle is going to work out, but maybe against Lord Vader, you want to get dazed so you can stop Maul from getting his frenzy triggered. If they're a healer support, stagger for one turn, so the ability to remove 100% turn meter potentially, kind of meaningless in a Master Kenobi team though. Tanks get buff immunity for one turn, so that's gonna be one way of trying to work through a General Kenobi, a Royal Guard, things of that matter. And here's where the ambush versus ambushed makes a difference. What it does is ambush, minus 50 speed, with a maximum of minus 50. You gain an additional stack upon receiving damage. So if I understand this correctly, if you have 2 stacks of ambush, it's not 100 speed reduction, it's still locked in at 50. But when you gain additional stack upon receiving damage, at 6 stacks, you lose all stacks of ambush and gain the ambushed until the entity count. I wish they kind of named it differently. It's kind of a mild complaint. I wish there was ambush and I don't know, dominated or something like that. Just so there's a bit more of a distinction. It's not that big of a deal though. But what happens is when you finally get that 6 stack, you get that ambush, which still, you're only gonna have minus 50 speed. It's not gonna stack, but protection is disabled. Immune to protection and bonus protection. Get wrecked, Kenobi! That right there, that's why I'm saying Kenobi probably is not going to be a huge issue. Depending on how fast you can get the 6 stacks of ambush on, a Master Kenobi team that relies so heavily on bonus protection, it's just going to get absolutely crippled. So right there and then, another way I'm seeing Master Kenobi's going to have a hard time. And I think another interesting thing as well is seeing how this is going to affect Galactic Legends Rey. Galactic Legends Rey really relies on bonus protection. This could be a problem for Rey as well. She's kind of another one on my list. She's been around for so long. She still freaking annoys me to this day. So moving on, she goes from little stick to big sticks, y'all. Special 2 tactical offensive with a cooldown of a 4 yet again. Another way to cleanse the rebel team. Dispel all debuffs. Remove 100% terminator from target ally. So it literally, she went from small stick, 20% terminator removal, and now we're going to big stick with 100% terminator removal from a target enemy. Deal physical damage, plus bonus true damage increased by 1% per terminator move from the target other ally to all enemies. So you really are going to want to target someone who is like got almost 100% terminator, yank all that terminator away. Pretty cool mechanic, kind of interesting. The way I see this being nice is like, let's say you have Old Ben or Kane and they're about to take a turn. Old Ben gets a lot of Terminator, remember, when you're attacking rebels, so he might have a nice reservoir of Terminator that you can pull from. If you target Old Ben Kenobi, he keeps his taunt up longer, number 1. And number 2, you're gonna do some amazing bonus damage here. So that's why I'm kind of seeing Kanan, seems like, not Kanan, Old Ben. I can see where the developers are saying he's probably gonna be a good plugin. He's not like super necessary. Yeah, he's nice for Star Killer. There's plenty of other things we can use with Star Killers, so it's gonna be a nice home for Old Ben, y'all. Now, an interesting little tidbit here. We're bringing Call to Action for the 2nd time. The last time Call to Action was in Galaxy Heroes was 2017. So we are kind of seeing it brought to the Rebels in general. The developers said in their little QA notes that they wanted to kind of bring it again. So Call to Action is being brought. She's gonna be granting it to all Rebel allies. They'll gain Call to Action for 4 turns, which can't be copied or dispelled as well. So kind of like Commander Luke Skywalker. And 10% max health stacking until the end of the encounter. Whew, man, the max health stacking thing, again, I don't know how much more I can emphasize this. There is so much max health ramping and additions to this kit. We even look at like R2 and all the other fun stuff in the game. On their next turn, target other ally gains 50% offense for their next ability. And if it's their basic ability, they gain an additional 2% offense for each percent of Terminator removed and ignored for that ability. If the target ally defeats an enemy during their turn, they gain 50% Terminator. Target other ally gains stealth and 150 speed. Hey, Jimmy, how much speed are you throwing? 150! That's literally how the conversation went, I swear. So I'm wondering if this might be a call out to Drogon. Drogon, as we've said, even before seeing Leia, pretty solid hitting basic. Kind of surprised. I was not expecting him to hit as hard as he did. And developers kind of said in their little interview they did on Twitch a while ago that he's not going to be like an insta kill like a Commander Tano, but it's going to feel like one. So I'm really curious if this is what they're referring to. This could be just straight up call out to Drogon. Remember, Drogon already has a lot of offense. And then he's got all the cool buffs that he brings for the first time to the table. And then you're going to have this. Yeah, this might be exactly what they're talking about right here. Inflict debuffs. And we're not done yet. By the way, we're not done yet. Inflict debuffs based on each enemy's roll, which can't be resisted if they're an attacker. Critical chance down, critical damage up. It's something, reduces damage a little bit. Healers and supports. Potency down, tenacity down. Tenacity down is always a welcome thing. Tanks defense down, and vulnerable for 2 turns. So making sure we could land those critical hits as often as possible. However, vulnerable doesn't really interact well with, let's say, a Royal Guard and a Lord Vader team, because there comes a point where you just can't crit them anymore. Same thing of Jedi Master Kenobi. If they do have protection, but you really can't crit them. So it's kind of one of those things where vulnerable, it's going to make sense in certain teams, but I'm just like, I'm thinking Galactic Legend Rome at the moment. You know, this is going to kind of limited use against some of the more recent Galactic Legend, but should be nice up against like Cursantha potentially. So unique 1, gosh, jeez, there's just so many words. I hope you guys are keeping up, and I'm trying to like break it down as we go, so we kind of like, you know, really digest all this information. Unique 1, forever our princess. At the start of the battle, R2 gains, yeah. How much health do we want, Jimmy? 75! Yeah, 75% max health, protection, offense, and potency. Oh, remember, number crunch. We literally were talking about this a while ago. The number crunch is he spreads a lot of his stats around. This is just kind of feeding into that a little bit more. We're gonna double check. I think they kind of left a little blurb of how this interacts with Leia. That's nuts. And they gain stealth for 2 turns, so you can't target R2 right away. And this is whenever Leia's uses especially, dealing 50% more damage. With all these potency gains, R2s should be able to stun lock a lot of fools, and it's gonna be really annoying. Damage R2 to receive is reduced by 20%, and Rebel allies recover 10% health whenever R2 attacks out of turn, which sounds like it should be a frequent occurrence on this team. But we're not done yet. Besides all the R2 love, if all allies are rebels at the start of a turn and each enemy's turn, Leia gains Fearless if she didn't already have it until she receives damage, which can't be copied. The spell prevent a new mechanic. We're going to talk about it. Whenever an enemy's turn ends, while Leia has Fearless, she gains 2% max health. All enemies lose 5% mastery, 15% defense. Jeez. One more time. Whenever an enemy's turn ends while Leia's Fearless, she gains 2% max health. So, in case it wasn't obvious with her health ramping and that she can equalize, you know, you shouldn't be surprised at this point. But all enemies lose 5% mastery, 15% defense, and tenacity until the ending encounter, and Leia gains 4% ultimate charge. And this doesn't even seem to be Galactic Legends are included in this too. While she has Fearless, at the end of each of her turns, non-scoundrel rebels gain 5% mastery stacking until the ending encounter, and Leia gains 4% ultimate charge. Leia can't gain Fearless if she has a taunt-based effect. Whew. Wow. We're not done yet, guys, by the way. I'm guessing that maybe this is meant to kind of prevent like Wat Tambor from being on the team, because you can technically Wat Tambor tank tech Leia, she taunts. I'm guessing that's trying to prevent mechanic like that. You know, let's just come down here. Fearless, all allies are immune to expose and fear, and all allies have plus 50%. What? 50% offensive tenacity. Guys, I don't know. I could literally sit here for like 30 minutes going through all the variety of offensive gains that this Leia's providing, Drogon's providing, R2's providing. That is not chump change. 50% of quadrillion amounts of offense is huge. Drogon already has a high amount of offense in his just his stats alone before you consider all these offensive gains and the offense up. Holy cow. And we're already immune to cooldown manipulation. Now they can't even get fear. Anyways, I still missed out on too many paragraphs here. At the start of her turn, all other rebel allies recover 100%, recover health equal to 100%. Jeez. Equal to 100% of the damage Leia received since her last turn. Wow. If their health was already at 100%, they recover this amount of protection set. This is just nuts, man. Again, we got to wait and see what it looks like. But it just sounds nuts on paper. Other allies will recover health equal to 100% of the damage Leia received. That is crazy. What a catch-22. You want to get rid of Leia, but as you're trying to get rid of Leia, you're healing up the rest of the team and all this other funny stuff. She is kind of that quasi tank. It's like B2's a tank, but you know, he's not a tank in the sense of a taunting tank. It's kind of a quasi type of tank. You're seeing that here. Wow, what a conundrum that we're going to have to figure out how to beat. Whenever rebel ally or rebel support allies days, they gain 100% protection, bonus protection. Remember, based off max health. I'm not even going to emphasize how much max health is on this team. It's going to be a lot. 100% protection is basically 100%. Protection up is basically, geez. Yeah, okay, moving on. Whenever an enemy is ambushed, all rebel allies gain foresight for 1 turn. Oh yeah, by the way, there's a foresight in here. Wow, whenever enemies ambush, remember 6 stacks of ambush. into ambushed, you get foresight. Whenever a Jedi Rebel tank uses a basic ability, Leia assist, and the basic, as you remember, gives retribution, all that fun stuff. Wow, that was only the first sneak ability. All right, the good news is her second unique ability is kind of that stereotypical Galactic Legend clause, where she's going to take reduced damage for percent health effects, so damage over times, and plague. Massive damage effects pretty much do nothing. So Mando's insta-kill, Nihilus insta-kill, only does like 99,000 damage. Only 99,000 damage. Isn't that crazy where we are nowadays? They take massive damage from destroy effects, excludes raid bosses, and are immune to stun effects. This unit gains, wow, more health, Jimmy. Plus 10% max health and max protection per relic amplifier level, and the damage they receive is reduced by 30%. Yeah, Relic 9 Leia's 90% max health, 90% protection, 50% max health, and oh gosh, wow, and 25% max. Yeah, that's a lot. Oh, guys, I forgot we got this thing over here. These are my friends. Oh, man. The ultimate ability, the thing that makes the Galactic Legend special at the end of the day in Galaxy of Heroes. So how do we get the ultra charge? You're getting 4% ultra charge whenever an enemy's turn or Leia's turn ends while she has a stack of Fearless on her. And then you gain 1% ultra charge whenever a Rebel ally deals damage while they have call to action. So it seems like it should be a steady occurrence. 4 turns of call to action, kind of a long time with that on there. Deal true damage to all enemies equal to 30% of Leia's max health. I'm not even gonna say it. Well, guys, look at all the max health. You guys have heard me say that a bajillion times. 90% against enemies who are ambushed, so even more. So if Leia had, I don't know, 1,000,000 health against enemies who are ambushed, that's 900,000 damage. That's almost as insta-killy as you could possibly get in this game. Wow. Remove 100% turn meter, inflict ambush on all enemies for 1 turn who don't already have it. If all allies are rebels, fracture, and we got a little teaser in this. Fracture all enemies until the end of Leia's next turn, or she's defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. Wow! A Thrawn AoE fracture, man. I would have been, I will admit, I wish there was a Galactic Legend Thrawn, and this is his mechanic, kind of a more advanced version of his legendary form. Nonetheless, kind of a big deal, just completely locking out the rest of the team. Fracture doesn't really impact Galactic Legends as much as it used to be after the nerf of 2021, but still, it's gonna slow things down even for a Galactic Legend. Oh yeah, we're not done yet. All Rebel allies recover 100% health and protection, gain tenacity up for 3 turns, which can't be dispelled, prevented, and other Rebel allies gain 50 speed for 2 turns. If this ability defeats the enemy, revive all defeated Rebel allies, and they recover full health and protection. Holy cow, it's like Admiral Radis almost right there. All non-scoundrel allies gain 30% mastery until the end of the encounter, and Rebel allies gain an additional 50 speed for 2 turns. My gosh, that's a lot. Oh yeah, by the way, this attack can't be counter evaded. Just casually throwing it in there in case it needs to be clarified for you guys. Seems to be a lot of fun. My question is, it sounds cool. It just depends. How long does it take to hit ultimate? Is it crazy fast? Like Lord Vader, you know, he's kind of got one of the faster ultimates with Maul's in there. When Maul starts doing his thing, you know, Lord Vader's almost at full ultimate. He kind of needs it though. I'm wondering how long will it take for this to happen? Is it gonna be on the slower side? Is it gonna be kind of on pace of Jabba? Jabba's kind of got like an average-ish pace with getting his ultimate out. So it's really gonna depend how nutty this is. But even without the ultimate, this is just looking very beefy. The damage looks nuts. Damage immunity. I'm ecstatic that RT2 is literally gonna have a call out to have a home. I hate that the guy just kind of wandering around. One of my favorite characters, not really having a home or important. He's gonna be important for this lineup. So it kind of makes sense that we're gonna have Galactic Legends Leia, Drogon, R2. I'm thinking Old Ben, and then we have that 5th flex spot of some sort. So I'm kind of curious what we're feeling for that last slot. I can't imagine a double tank situation. I remember developers said, you know, Kanan, Old Ben. I think it's only gonna be one or the other. I really don't want to give Kanan away because Kanan's really important for the Phoenix crew right now in Captain Rex. So kind of curious to see what this ideal team's gonna pan out to be. Now, in case you want to stick around a little bit longer, there's a couple things I really want to look at here. So number one, kind of I already brought this up. 3PO and Chewie, they're kind of gating him out of the Leia crew here. They want to make sure they're not pulling apart the Commander Luke Skywalker team. And I think on the upside, it's going to maybe give a more underappreciated Rebel a home on this team. So they've already said they've been trying to kind of exclude things down the road for certain characters, which makes me wonder, they've already kind of pre-added a clause that Trench excludes Separatist Galactic Legends, even though there isn't one now. So I don't want to say, oh, Separatist Galactic Legend. I really want to believe next year is going to be a year of like clones or Galactic Republic and Separatists. That's my hope and dream. So it'll be interesting. I would love to see a Separatist Galactic Legend. So again, they want no net impact to the balance of the CLS teams. And we also see that with Han Solo. They really tried to exclude Han Solo with non-scoundrel rebel attackers. Also, as I already said, ambush, the speed does not get beyond -50. It just, you can have multiple stacks, but you're only going to be at -50. Bonus damage and gore protection on basic from tactical offense and only applies to the first attack instant of damage on that character's next turn. If your character uses the basic twice like Han Solo, the second instant of damage will not get these bonuses. All right, second wind can be dispelled. We saw second wind, I believe, boy, in the leadership ability. Now, this is important. Again, this is probably the sleeper line in the whole entire kit that I already brought up. Forever Our Princess, which, as a reminder, oh gosh, where's that thing? Forever Our Princess right there. All of those stat boosts, the 75% max health, max protection, offense, and potency that R2 is being fed through Leia. It's applied to R2 before R2's number crunch is triggered. And R2 shares all that with the Rebel crew. You're gonna have to understand that's a lot of stats that R2's feeding. We're making burning a lot more impactful, extra bonus damage, damage immunity. We're getting things with R2 providing his number crunch to be a lot more impactful than it ever has been in the past. And he's under stealth, so you can't even try to gun him down right away. I'll be honest, I'm looking at this. I don't know how I'm gonna approach a Leia crew. Even though they said it's an offensive team, it sounds like an interesting puzzle to solve on defense. It could be simple. We'll have to wait and see. So I really wanted to bring that up here. They have new role icons coming, so if you don't know what an enemy's role is, if you don't have it memorized, like all the uses information I have, they're going to have some sort of way to show an icon to better understand how it's going to impact. So there are so many non-rebel scoundrel callouts. While a fun nod to her banter with Han, it also helps us keep the CLS squad again, keeping it intact and tune around units without making Han and Chewie spin way too high up. So they're not saying you can't use Han and Chewie. They're just trying to make sure they're not like super lucrative. I don't know. We got to wait and see when we get a hold of it. They really are trying to keep the CLS crew together, which I can appreciate. But if the Rebel crew looks like it's going to be amazing with Leia with the CLS in there. Like for me, I'm not using CLS for too many things. It's still, of course, a good team and useful team. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe somehow we fit Chewie in there and he gives guard to the team, possibly. But you just won't be able to get the crazy ramp that the rest of the team gets. And of course, I want to bring up the call to action synergy. Just because one character had it doesn't mean no one else can have it. We see this with a variety of things. A thing that was unique to one character, they kind of bring it eventually to other characters. We like the idea of expanding that buff to more rebels and using it in other ways. Call to action aligns with the type of leader Leia was for the Rebel Alliance. She was a very upfront and unafraid to dictate the battlefield and stare down the opposition. She provides for her entire Rebel team as a rallying call to press the attack against the enemy. So my oh my, and there's even more stuff which I'll spare you, but offensive powerhouse, able to be competitive with most Galactic Legends on offense. I'm curious which ones are gonna be the good counters of Leia in terms of the Galactic Legend. Maybe Supreme Leader Kyle will be fine. He's got ways to buff the spell, the damage immunity, and things of that sort. I don't know. It's seeming pretty crazy. But again, the thing I'm kind of worried about here at the end of the day is they didn't really give us a timeline. When can we expect her to get released? And we still have 3 characters that can't be farmed. My suspicion is tomorrow we're going to see Nisa get added, but we still have Drogon, Scout Trooper. So that's kind of a little gateway. Yes, the relics have been pretty friendly, but the marquees have been the big barrier. And as a result, the Kyra techs have been a bit of a barrier. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm just putting it out there. Small chance this could be out and about this coming Thursday, later on this week. I'll let you guys know. But in the meantime, let me know your thoughts down below. I can't believe how long this kit reveal is. It's a ton to digest. I'm looking forward to it. Finally getting the love for Leia, R2. And guys, I want to just give the love right back at you. So leave that like, comment down below as always, and be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And always remember, my friends, the most important thing on the way out, how it's great to be in the Empire today.
Oh, it's great to be